a few weeks back, Tobii, the company making the Tobii eye tracker, reached out to me and asked if I wanted to partner up with them. I said, sure, I would be interested, but I'm not sure if their products work with me. To which they replied, challenge accepted. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Tobii eye tracker 5. As I said in the intro, they reached out to me and I said I don't think it's going to work on me, because if you're a frequent follower of the channel, you will know that I have a lazy eye. That means one of my eyes will have a tendency to look out at a weird angle. And because of that, I figured an eye tracker would probably be quite confused, and I had a hard time seeing that actually be able to work. The guys over at Tobii, they were pretty confident in their products, so we made an agreement and we said, fine, you ship one to me. So today's video is sponsored by them. While I'm not getting directly paid for this, they did send me an eye tracker I could keep. But they will ship one to me and I would open it up on live stream, set it up on live stream, and show the whole experience. I'll be linking to the live stream in the description. Not only do I have a lazy eye, I'm also wearing glasses, and I have two studio lights right here, and with the eye tracker below the screen, my glasses is in the perfect position to get reflection off those lights. Now here we have the Tobii experience, which is the software you use to run it. You can just run this in the background. What we're seeing here is the little demo page they have, where you can see the little circle, the white circle moving around. That is where I am looking. And you can of course see my head, and you can see how my head is being tracked. Right now, I'm using the default both eye tracking. Here we have a little bullseye. If I'm looking straight at the center of the bullseye, you can see it's doing a decent job. It is a little bit off, but overall it's doing an okay job right now. If we jump in here to the experience software, what we can do if you do have a lazy eye is you can go in here to the settings and you can click here on select eye to detect. You can see right now we're using both eye. Now if I take my left eye only, for instance, and give it some time to figure that out, you can now see that it is further off than it was before. Let's try again here. You can see how it's shooting off to the side. It's slowly creeping in. It's not hitting it as accurate. That's because my left eye is the one that has a tendency to drift. So if we go back here and we swap this over to right eye tracking, we should see much more accurate tracking now. Okay, let's try this again, moving my eyes around a bit and then homing in on the target. There you go. It's much more accurate now that I'm using just my my right eye. I should say the calibration I have right now, I've calibrated it for both eyes. So if I wanted to just use one eye tracking, I would probably do a calibration with just one eye. Now I also want to show you how you set this up for games. I'm going to show you how to set up for Elite Dangerous as well as Star Citizen. But first, if you are interested in a Tobii eye tracker yourself, there is a link in the description where you can go to tobii.d2a.com. That will take you to the store, and if you use the offer code D2EA, it will also be in the description, then you get 5% off. And while you are down below the video, I would really appreciate if you would consider subscribing to the channel. It would really mean a lot to me. Now, so in order to set this up for a game, you will need the Tobii Gaming Hub, as you can see we're using here. This will automatically detect the games you have installed that support it. Very long list of games, as you can see here as well. And in here, you have a number of options. First of all, you can of course enable or disable it. You can turn on gaze tracking, so that it will do, if you look around the screen, it will turn the camera just slightly. It will do small movements, not a lot, but enough that you just focus on a UI panel. So if you're looking at a UI panel in the corner, it will then pull that UI panel a little bit closer to the center of the screen. And you can of course adjust the sensitivity here. You can even set a sensitivity gradient here if you want to. And also limits for how much this allows you to move around. So you can see by default is very little, but if you wanted it to be super aggressive, well, you could. That's completely up to you. What you could also do is of course use head tracking. As you saw, it can also track your head movements. And the same options here, you have the option to also have roll, yaw, pitch. You can have different gradients here. You can also have different profiles up here. You can just take a smooth profile I've made where there's a little bit of a curve to this, so that it's less aggressive towards the center, much more aggressive towards the middle, and then less aggressive at the end as well. And you have same options to control this, and these are separate settings. One thing I think is pretty cool is this, that you have the option to enable or disable, and that you can bound that to a key, and it has full HOTAS support. So if you're running a HOTAS, you can just bound that to a key, and you can then enable or disable it as you see fit. Up here with the profiles, if we click on the profile, you can see you can also bound hotkeys to enable that profile. So if you have multiple profiles for different situations in game, you can go in and you can set hotkeys up for those so that you can swap between those profiles on the fly. No need to tab out of the game or anything, which is super, super neat. Here we are in game. And by the way, if you don't like to have this circle on the middle of the UI, you can just either close the Tobii experience or just swap to another tab, and then it will go away. So I'm just keeping this on for demonstration purposes so you can see where I'm looking at the screen. Right now, I'm just using gaze tracking. You can see if I look over here, it turns the camera slightly that way. If I look up there in the other corner, it looks that way. If I look down at the radar, it moves the head just slightly with gaze tracking. Alternatively, I could do full-on head movements here, which will, of course, will also turn my camera. I'm running on a pretty aggressive settings right now, but I do have a little bit of centering. You can see how it kind of snaps a little bit to the middle here. But it is relatively aggressive settings that I am running with right now. But again, I have the option to just click a key, and now it's disabled, and I can move my head around as I see fit. And again, I didn't need to do anything in game, it just did all that for me. Now for Star Citizen, you have to set this up in game. You head over to the head tracking section, and then you go down here where it says head tracking general source, and you have some options, and you of course choose Tobii. And now you have an absolutely insane amount of settings. First of all, you have a bunch of different settings saying whether head tracking should be enabled in different situations. So for instance, do you want it to have disable it doing first person combat or FPS? I've set it to no, so I still have head tracking doing that. Disabled doing aim down sights, for instance. Yes, I don't want it to disable doing aim down sights. So when you take your weapon up, then that's being disabled. All that just to show you here. We're currently on foot, and again I have a key. So right now it is disabled, but at the press of a button, it is now enabled, and I can now look around in game as I see fit. Now I can't draw a weapon here since I'm inside a station, but as you can see, it works quite well. So as you can see, the setup is relatively smooth. It's easy to integrate into the games that you like. There's a huge library of games that it supports. And even in this worst case situation where I have it mounted like under the screen here with two lamps up here and with the glasses and with lazy eye and all that stuff, and it still works. So I think it's safe to say that I'm very impressed and I'm very happy that Tobii reached out to me and asked if I want to partner with them, because I've had an awesome experience and I think it's super fun to use. And I hope you will as well. That's good for this time. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.